Hi, folks. How many of you heard about the storytelling skills? Now it's all the rage. How many of you have at least know that, or want to do that, or have done a session for that? You'd probably know. Recently, had a very interesting conversation with a client. So that person had done it long back. He's a very senior person, so he wanted to review it before, letting his employees take the course. So he was asking, okay, so what do you do? I mean, what are the skills? So I was giving him a demo about this is how, told him a story, debriefed that, got some learnings out of it, all that. He said, yeah, that's all fine, Sindhu. But, all this, I'm talking about mid level management people. I'm also talking about the front level IT employees who are good developers, but not necessarily good speakers and communicators. So, and he was talking about an episode where he was a good developer, but then for status update meetings, he had just 2 minutes to say. He didn't have anything to say. He said, in such a scenario, what do you suggest? Will this come in handy? So I was very upfront with him and I said, status update is something that is facts. There's no BS. Please don't BS about facts because that gives a very bad opinion to the client. Now, having said that, I suddenly remembered an instance in my own corporate life, whereas I was leading a team of 24. There was not enough work. And one of the things I had to show was utilization of the team's capacity. So if there is not enough work, how do I otherwise engage them? So I used to send the reports as saying the team is 78% utilized or 68% utilized, and the query would come back saying, so why is this utilization so low? What's happening? Okay, so what else are you doing? So utilization is utilizing the teams for productive, or there are some non-productive things or developmental things. So use them for all these things. So I realized that that was a gap. That was a communication gap that I had left. That was an open loop for the client. So the next report I sent was I showed the utilization and I said that this is the productive work that I've done. This is the amount of work that we got, and that's what we have done. This is the work for the day. The rest of the time, I've utilized them for this, this, and this. Then I'll give a brief explanation. I'll make sure that they had a refresher. I'll make sure that they had, they were given some kind of trainings, upskill them, or had our fun time when work was low. Then I'll make sure that we had that our weekly fun game during that time, things like that. So my point is that, even in status update, when you're giving, it's a routine kind of meeting every day or every week or every month. It's a routine thing. You don't have many things to say, but just look around. You'll have lots of things to say. It's that how you put it across. Take a fact. Take a fact. The fact remains, you state that fact and then explain it a little. The communication becomes more clearer. The facts can be probably, in especially in the IT domain, it can be technical terms, done this, done that, finish this. But what was done? How was it done? How was it done? That's a question. How was it done? And by whom was it done? You get 2 3 lines. That's more. That's, you have something more to say. Or you say that this was done this way, but think about it, innovate it. Can I do it something differently? Or we are looking to speed it up a little bit, or this is taking 2 hours time. Tomorrow we are trying to make it, do it in 1.5 hours, and all that. Client is going to be happy. So you adding to it. Even the status update that you do on a weekly or a daily basis can be made interesting. Now, where does storytelling come into this? Not always. Not always. But storytelling comes into it when you have something important to say. You can start by setting the context. That is, this is a status update meeting, but I have something important to say. I have something to add. There's something more that I need to add. And then you can set the context. Make the client curious to know what you're talking about. So get his or her full attention and then say that this is what we usually do. So this is the extra thing that we are trying out or doing or thinking or planning or strategizing, or this is what the team has been talking about, discussing, brainstorming. So many things that you do on a daily basis in your team. But when it comes to a client, you just keep to a minimum of things just so that you don't make mistakes. Does that ring a bell? Yeah. Most of us want to play it safe. That's another point. We want to play it safe. So we keep it very simple and very short so that nothing can go wrong there. But if you don't take a risk, no pain, no gain, right? So whenever you do any meetings, anything for that matter, it can be a weekly matter, even your team meetings, a meeting with your client, a meeting with your team lead, an appraisal, anything, keep in mind that you can make the conversation interesting if you put your full interest to it and jot down those points which are extra other than whatever you want to say. Jot it down so that you don't forget it and add to it. Your communication becomes longer, better. You connect much better. And more than anything, I would like to stress upon the point that please set the context before you start any conversation. What does setting the context mean? It simply means that you tell them what this is about. What is the outcome that you're looking at? At the end of the meeting, what is the outcome, that your result or outcome, or what do you want them to know, or what do you want to know from them? Whatever it is, set that first, set that context first. This will take 15 minutes. 10 minutes, I'll give you the status update. 5 minutes, I want to discuss something with you. Yeah, just like a couple of rules. You set a rules for a training or a session or a meeting. Set that context and then start, and take a moment to emotionally connect to that person. Now the question is, how do you emotionally, I mean a professional scenario, every day with a meeting, a client who's feeling irritated or happy or under stress, how do you connect? Simple. Be authentic. Be yourself and say that, how do you do? Hope everything is okay at your end. One line. Client is like, yeah, everything is okay. Yeah, great. Good to know that. Now let's start. Be authentic. Do not say it if you don't feel it, but it should come from your heart. If it is authentic, immediately the connection is done. So, like one of my mentors told me, the connection that you have with your client or the person you're speaking to is a bridge. Once you build that bridge, anything goes through that. Make sense? So that connection is your bridge through which any communication can then go, nothing can go wrong 99% of the time. Okay, so set the context. So what I wanted to say today, let me summarize it. 3 main points mainly. One, whenever there are facts, play it as facts. Storytelling is not necessary all the time. Be wise as to choose a context to say a story. Now, storytelling is not about actually telling a story. It's about using the components of a story, that is pictures, representations, imagination, emotions, and then connecting with another person. It's just a vehicle to pass your message across more effectively. Now, when you're connecting, even the most boring of meetings can be enlivened by some personal anecdotes, and setting the context before connecting with a person. Coming to the facts, the little facts that you miss out, making a note of them, mentioning them, sharing with each other more small things about what your team is doing, what your team is thinking, any ideas, anything, something which is worth sharing. It just creates a rapport between you. Anything to create a rapport between the person you're speaking and the other person and yourself, right? And set the context. The last one, set the context properly. build a rapport, build that bridge, and you'll be an awesome speaker in no time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Look out for more. Thank you.